I bought my first property flip in my final year of uni with no experience.
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm really interested in this story because he was able to buy his first property flip in his final year of uni with no experience. I am really interested in this story. I want to know how he was able to get the deposit for this house. You can tell from his accent. Yes. His parents are not here. He also wrote about this, that his parents are not in the UK. So I'm really interested. How did he get his deposit? How did he build his credit history? How much did it cost? The whole breakdown of all the things he had to do to that property to make it to come up to the standard that he can now sell it in the market. I'm really interested in everything that has to do with this particular journey. You know that property business is one of the wealth building businesses that can change your life in the UK. If you're not into it, you should try it. It's really profitable, but you have to know your numbers, and there is a lot to unpack from this video. Welcome to Money Confessions with Dr. Cynthia, where I talk about real money, real confessions, and real life story that can change your life, guys. And without wasting time, let's get into this video.
I bought my first property flip in my final year of uni with no experience, so let me show you guys around. Let's start with the living room. When I first viewed this house, I actually thought this room wasn't too bad. But once we started stripping everything back, we found loads of little issues.
That is one issue with property flipping. You might think that this is the amount of money I need to spend, but once you strip the wallpaper, whatever you see underneath will determine whether you will have to go above your budget. That's why you have to allocate some money towards miscellaneous things that can pop up from time to time. So he looked at the living room and thought that, oh, I don't need to do much work here. But once he stripped the wallpaper, he noticed some issues. It means he has to remove the plastering and replace it. So that is something that would add to your budget. And you can see that the living room looks good. He worked on the fireplace, and then he takes you to the dining room. You can see the ceiling. He did a lot of work here. He knocked the kitchen, removed all the kitchen cabinets, knocked it to create an open plan. Do you like open plan, or do you prefer when your kitchen is enclosed? I prefer when my kitchen is enclosed, but this is some of the things that many people like nowadays. They like an open plan. And then he went under the stairs. He noticed that, oh, there's an enclosed space under the stairs, so he knocked that one open. That is to tell you that this project is intensive to create more space. And then he's taking you to the bathroom. So you go upstairs. Is a 3-bedroom, double bedroom. You can see that it's really wide. Anything you see after you peel off that wallpaper, anything you see, you take. That's one thing about this. But it's really spacious, you know. You can see him peeling off some of the plastering. He mustn't do that for every single room. Is when you feel that, oh my goodness, this room is not so good. Now, this is the bathroom, guys. The bathroom, he feels that it needs to be dated. He pulled everything because that could add a lot of value to your house. Your house might not look so good, but if the bathroom is up to standard and the kitchen, it could increase the amount that someone is willing to pay. He had to spend a lot of time here. So I'm interested to find out what are the financial decisions he had to make this happen, because you need deposit for sure. You need a good credit history. You need a lot of things to take up a project like this. 8 financial decisions that helped me buy my first property flip before I graduated. So I'm really interested in this for an undergrad. It is really intriguing. Now, the first decision he had to make is that he took a gap year, which helped him figure out what he wanted to do and gave him a clear direction before committing to a degree. This is something that most migrant parents will not support. I'm telling you the truth. Many people say, oh my goodness, just pick one course, go ahead with it. Just go ahead with it. You don't need a year to think about which one you need to do. Most times we're in a hurry. We want to race and achieve the best thing without analyzing some of these things. For some people, it will take longer for them to be sure of the degree they are pursuing, especially in this era of AI. It's not about how fast. It's about how well. You need to graduate and get a proper job. So he knew he needed to get into property. And this gap year must be one of the times where he made some money. Next, instead of living in expensive student accommodation, he rented in a cheaper area and saved on rent. When you move to a new country, you will notice that one of the biggest expenses you have to make every month is in your mortgage or rent or anything that has to do with the shelter, the roof over your head. It costs a lot in the UK, and it makes sense that he chose somewhere that is cheaper, that he could rent. I think he must have stayed in a shared accommodation to cut costs. The third decision he had to make, which actually makes sense, is that once he knew he wanted to get into property, he worked 12-hour warehouse night shifts and saved towards his deposit. I told you that anytime you want to get into property, you need your mola, you need your money. You can't do it without money. It actually makes sense that what he did, he worked for 12 hours night shift. Then the next morning he went to school. Hey, he would practically be sleeping in class if possible, but maybe I don't know him. Let me not assume anything, but I'm sure he was feeling sleepy after staying awake all through the night, not just sitting down one place. Warehouse operatives, oh my goodness, go and ask anybody that has done warehouse. You know that is not for the weak-minded. You have to work, you have to move things around, you need to be agile, you need to have good stamina. It is not for everybody. This guy sacrificed for it. I give him kudos for this. His parents really brought up an amazing person. And his parents should be proud. Seriously, they should be very proud. This guy is willing to take on risk, work hard through the night for his dream. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you that it's not easy to achieve this. It actually makes sense. That's how he got his deposit. Oh, the next one is that it made me laugh. He stopped paying for tables and nights out and put that money towards his goal instead. It makes sense. He said he stopped it entirely, not that he reduced it. He stopped it. When you have a dream and a goal, it involves sacrifices, especially if you are not born with a silver spoon. Next, he said he stopped buying designer clothes and shoes. Trends come and go. You can't follow every single one. I told you that another reason that many migrants don't achieve financial wealth is because of their source of transportation or car. I avoided the cost of owning a car until I actually needed one. Only bought a cheap one in final year when I actually needed it for viewings. And I've told you guys that there are some people that spend £400 on car finance, financing a car, £400 every month. And guess what? They're not even investing towards an ETF, nothing. They're not buying any stocks or shares. It does not make sense. Now, the next one he said he did that actually made me so happy is that he got a credit card in first year, used it for small stuff, paid it off in full every month. By the time I needed a mortgage, I already had the history to back it up. I also started investing small amounts into ETFs and shares instead of leaving all my money seated in my bank account. Guys, look at my Palantir. I sold off all my Palantir and I decided to go back into the market and bought Palantir last month, guys. Just see, 33%. I'm not saying this is the ideal standard that your stock or share will surely go up all the time, but I'm just giving you an example. This is not financial advice, but I have to tell you the truth. You need to get into the market, go for an ETF to be safe. If you don't understand investing, spend time every day, even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, to learn about investing, the stock market, anything that has to do with buying and selling, and you have access to that market. It is always wise to do that, especially if you are going for a long-term project. So I'm just sharing this with you to tell you that building your credit history is very important. You can see Amex, credit card. He had that. Lloyd's Bank looked like something he had for his high yield savings account. He made sure every penny he had worked for him. And he's Trading 212. Get the referral link for my Trading 212 in the comments. I've always shared this with you. Get it, register, complete it, and start something with your life. You can't keep waiting for a miracle to happen, waiting to make 1 million in 5 years before you retire. They will just take a huge chunk of it through taxes. So this is actually a wise guy. If I'm his parents, I will be so proud of him. He's doing amazing. Finally, this is the aspect I always talk to you guys about, which is to get an education. Yes, very important. You need to surround yourself with people who trust you, people who will support you. The energy around those people will change your life. He said he invested in his education, and not just the degree he's pursuing. No, he said he got a mentor and surrounded himself with people in property. When you're around people like this, you get better ideas about, okay, this is where you can get cheaper material, this is what you need to do, and it's not free. You have to pay for it. There's nothing wrong with spending some money in getting some skills, knowledge, information that will change your life. I am a financial coach. If you want to reach out to me to learn how to invest, please get the link in the comments. Pay for a one-on-one session with me so I can assess your financial situation, give you ideas on how you can move forward with your life. That is something for sure. And I'm really proud of this guy. Now, I'm really interested in this other aspect. The aspect that has to do with how much did it cost? If you're interested in property, you want to go into property flipping, I'm sure you're interested in this aspect. You want to know how much did it cost from start till the end. The bathroom was done, the kitchen was done, the living room was done. In fact, he had to knock out that divider between the dining and the kitchen to create some space. Of course, he had to do some of the work, He had to call professionals to help him because he cannot wire the house. He had to call some professionals to sort some things out. You can see him doing some of the work, but let me tell you the truth, he had to get professionals to sort some parts because he does not have the experience, he does not have the license to do so. So you can see the property he's showing here, it says £190,000. He said the deposit was £25,000. So my borrowing power wasn't very strong. So I had to put down a bigger deposit. It actually makes sense. For 190,000 is above 10%. You know that most times they will ask for 10%, which should have been 19,000. But for someone with a smaller borrowing power, I'm sure they would ask for more. So you have to prepare for something like this. Solicitor fee is £2,170. I couldn't choose a cheaper solicitor, but I went with one recommended by my mentor. A good solicitor can save you a lot of stress during conveyancing, especially when delays start happening. You know that some people are in the process of getting a house and it could take 7 months, 8 months. It should take between a month to 2 months, say 3 months max, but sometimes it could take very long because the solicitor would delay your process. Next, he said mortgage broker, £795. I could have gone with a cheaper broker, but because I was on a 0-hour warehouse contract and couldn't use my parents as guarantors since they don't live in the UK, I needed a specialist broker. It actually makes sense that this is what he did. Yeah, £795 is not bad. It could be cheaper, but yeah. Next is structural work, £2,878. Wall removal, £2,080. Structural engineer, £350. Building control, £448. I could have removed the wall myself, but it was load bearing. I also could have got a cheaper quote, but builders kept canceling or not turning up. That's one of the most common challenges that people who get into property experience when the builders that you expected to come in to sort something out does not show up. It now delays the next person's work and the next person's work. Without the builder doing some of the things they need to do, then the electrician might not be able to come, and you've already planned with the electrician to sort things out upper week once the builder has done some things. So this is one of the things that can cause frustration. You need to be like a project manager to achieve this. Plastering is £5,400. You notice that some of the plastering was falling off the walls and had to bring them back to brick, and a few ceilings had to be replaced because years of cigarette smoke had damaged them. 5,400, not for the entire house though. If you want to do an estimate, it's just a few aspects had to be removed, not every aspect. The next one is full house rewire. That is something that is crazy. £4,500 sounds reasonable. I could have saved around £1,000 by chasing the walls myself, but I gave up because I thought I'll end up damaging the walls and paying even more for plastering. Sometimes he had to get someone else to do the removal. Kitchen, £5,000. It actually makes sense. He had to pull out the entire kitchen and modernize it because it was outdated. The kitchen cupboards are one of the things that would make it look a bit, off. It says, I was tempted to spend more, but I had to separate my emotions. Next is plumbing, including materials, £3,640, especially in the bathroom. You have to do that of the bathroom and do a part of plumbing in the kitchen to connect the sink, to connect if there's going to be a dryer or a washing machine. Some of these things are things you need to do. It was an old council house, so all the pipework was exposed. Everything had to be replaced and hidden in the walls to give it a modern finish. Skips, £700. I definitely overspent here. I could have found them cheaper. Roof repairs, £350, just a few missing tiles and broken guttering. Tools, £300. I think I have spent more time in screw fix than at home. That's so funny because yeah, you might go round and round looking for the best material for the house you're trying to work on. You want something that is affordable, durable, long lasting. At the same time, you are looking for the one that fits best because you cannot just buy anything. Not everything would fit. So it makes absolute sense. The total cost, including the deposit, was £50,733. Follow along and watch the transformation. So I'm going to put the link to his TikTok. He's P Roberts on TikTok. Yeah, you can share this with your kids. It will motivate them. If they're interested in house flipping in the UK, it's always going to remain there, even though AI takes over everything. But you see these aspects, I don't think AI is ready to take it. Did you enjoy this video? Did you learn a lot from this video? I did. I personally did. And I'll see you in my next video, Money Confessions with Dr. Cynthia. Bye-bye.